So I just got home, so I'm like recapping on all of this drama going on TikTok with Benefit Cosmetics and this girl, Slay by Jess. Let me recap real quick. So it's this brand, it's a makeup brand called Benefit Cosmetic. Allegedly, this involves this influencer, Slay by Jess, and all of it has to do with this girl. So basically, this girl got sent a video, I think from her sister or her friend, and they were like, you have to look at this video from Benefit Cosmetics. It was this video, allegedly on the official Benefit Cosmetics page, featuring this girl, this is Slay by Jess, pointing to this old picture of the other girl, and she's like, look at this girl's eyebrows, they're so far apart, I can help you with this with makeup. Pretty shady thing, and it's definitely wrong to use an old picture of this girl, but that's not the weird part about this. This picture is a private photo of hers. It has never been on the internet, apparently. It's from like 2019, and it's like from a private gallery on her phone. How did Benefit Cosmetics and this girl get this picture, and why are they using it?
I think we may have actually captured a photo of La Llorona. But quick little backstory before I show you guys the photo. This story was submitted by Vivian. I went ahead and tagged her. One night, Vivian's husband and her cousin were up late playing with the Xbox. Vivian's husband was at home with her and her cousin was at his house. They were both just sitting there talking through the mic when they both decided to go outside and smoke a cigarette. At which point, Vivian's husband decided to call her cousin through FaceTime. So as they're out there smoking a cigarette, just talking back and forth, Vivian's cousin notices that his cat is acting weird. His whole body's like hunched over. I'll show you guys a picture, and the hairs in the back of his neck are like standing up. He figures that probably a dog got into his yard, so he decided to walk down towards the driveway to see if he could see anything. But of course, he couldn't see anything. At which point he heard a woman scream. His first instinct was to drop to the ground right on his stomach and start crawling towards his house. I mean, he was terrified. Crazy part about the whole thing was that Vivian's husband, who was on FaceTime with him, did not hear the scream. Once her cousin got back to the porch, he told her husband what happened and decided to flip the camera in the direction that the scream came from. Her husband, of course, could not see anything, but decided to take a screenshot of the scream. This is when they finally saw what her cousin had heard. Now I'm going to show you guys the first initial photo she sent me, and then I'll show you guys the lightened version. Now this is the first one she sent me. You can see there the silhouette of something standing there. Now this is the more lightened version where you can really start to make out something just there. Now here's when I started to get really creeped out. I mean, this is a legit woman standing there with a veil on her head, screaming in the middle of the night. And here's another close-up. I mean, you can clearly make out a face beneath the veil. What do you guys think?
Big news. I have a Snapchat show. The Avery After Dark Snapchat show is finally here. There will be new episodes premiering every week. Go watch and subscribe. This show has been in the works for a while, and I am so thrilled you all can enjoy it. So exciting.
Stop scrolling because this is one of Earth's scariest places, part 60. This one's super spooky. This is Hotel del Salto, located in the Tequendama Falls right outside of Bogota, Colombia. It is one of the most haunted places in South America. This once stunning luxury hotel is now completely abandoned. Here's a little backstory. In 1923, this luxury hotel was built on a stunning waterfall with beautiful views and was meant for rich travelers. But over time, the nearby waterfall and lake became contaminated and ugly. This led to the decline of the popularity of the hotel, and eventually in 1990, it closed its doors. And the inside is completely abandoned. Everything in there is the exact way it was when it closed its doors. On top of that, there were multiple reports of suicide within its walls. According to local legend, a newlywed couple was staying there in the early 20th century, and the wife jumped off the balcony and into the waterfall, killing herself. Her ghost has roamed the halls for decades, and now that it's completely abandoned, it's even creepier. It's closed off to the public now, but people who have snuck in have reported seeing a ghost in a wedding dress. That's why you should.
Let's talk about this dead woman that solved her own murder. Her name was Teresita Bassa. In 1977, she was murdered and her jewelry was stolen. There were no suspects and the case was about to go cold. That was until Teresita's co-worker, Remy Chua, started getting visions of her. Remy said that Teresita was coming to her in these visions, and so she decided to contact her. Remy contacted her from the dead and in the end told the whole story of how she was murdered. She said it was done by a man named Alan Showery. police went to go investigate and he confessed. So Teresita's spirit solved her case. If you want to learn more about this case, I just did a video on it on YouTube. It's featured in this video, Most Unsettling Unsolved Mysteries of All Time. Link in bio.
This bathroom is straight out of a nightmare. This is by far the scariest bathroom in the world, and the real question is, would you use it? Okay, so this bathroom is located in a bar in Japan. And inside this haunting bathroom is a huge head looking at you while you're sitting on the toilet going to the bathroom. The face is then activated by the pressure of the seat, which it would then start singing a drunken song in the creepiest voice you've ever heard as it moves slowly closer to you, making the room smaller and smaller until its lips kisses your knees. I don't know why this is so unsettling and disturbing, but it is. There's just something about sitting on the bathroom and staring directly into this giant face as it's singing and moving closer to you, trying to kiss your knees. So only one question remains. Will you go to the bathroom in this bathroom? My answer is 100% no, because I probably won't even be able to go. And if I had to use the bathroom, I would just shut the lights off so I didn't have to look at it. Why is this a thing, and who came up with this to put this in a bathroom?
Fatal Doomsday Theories, Part 17, The Great Disappointment, which is also what my parents call me. Just kidding, but let's get into the video. And this man right here is William Miller. William Miller is a Baptist preacher who predicted that the rapture, the end of the world, the end of humanity as we knew it, would come between March 1843 and March 1844. He based his theories on extensive but misinterpreted studies of the Bible. He published so much about this theory that the media caught on, which caused his following to grow. His followers ended up calling themselves Millerites. But the year came and nothing happened. William Miller was wrong, and when they called him out, he pushed the day back again and again. Eventually, his followers caught on that he was lying. They were extremely disappointed and ended up shunning him from the religious community. You are not gonna believe this.
Do you guys remember hearing about the McDonald's massacre? This took place back in July of 1984 in San Diego, California. Quick little rundown, this person, I won't even say his name because who cares, walked into a McDonald's and in a span of 77 minutes unalived 21 people. Most of them being children, the youngest being 4 months old. According to reports, before he left his home, he told his wife that he was going to go out and hunt humans. Now to get to my story time. This story was submitted by Zaina. I went ahead and tagged her down below. So when Zaina was younger, her and her family moved into an apartment located in San Diego, California. She later found out that it was actually the apartment that this person used to live in. She says that you could actually see the McDonald's right from her bedroom window because it was right down the road. So not long after moving into that apartment, Zaina says that her little brother would wake up in the middle of the night screaming at the top of his lungs without having any memory of it the next day. They would also see a tall, dark shadow figure standing at the doorway just staring at them while they slept. But that wasn't even the worst part. They actually had a doll that had become possessed by whatever was in this apartment. She said that she had a doll that looked like your average doll with the plastic mouth shut. One night she woke up to that doll standing there just smiling at her. At one point the doll even stuck his thumb in its mouth. Somehow Zaina gathered up the courage and ran to her mom's room screaming for help. The very next day, she gathered all of her dolls, gathered them in trash bags, and put them away. After she did this, her little brother told her that he was relieved because he had seen the doll smiling as well. The only difference was that the doll had teeth when it smiled at him. They also had several other unexplained events happening at that apartment. Everything stopped once they eventually moved out. But Zaina believes that the dark entity that was in this home was the gunman. My belief is that this dark entity is the reason why this person committed such a heinous act.
So, who turned the light on? A man wrote, I used to work doing maintenance at historic properties, and there was one historic home I worked at when it wasn't open to the public. It was a part of a landmark site, so there was a visitor center with offices, and sometimes I worked with a crew, but there were a lot of times I just worked alone. One day I was working by myself to replace some electrical work on the exterior of the house. I went inside, turned off the circuit to the entire property, and tested it. It was off. I locked the doors, went outside to work. After about an hour, I got down from my ladder and started walking around the house when one of the lights inside the home turned on. I started to freak out, but thought maybe someone was playing a joke on me, so I called the visitor center and they confirmed that there was no one else at the house besides me and that all the keys to the house were present and accounted for. But I was freaked out and ran to get a coworker and made him come back with me to check out what was going on. But when we got to the house, the light was off again, but the bulb was still warm. All of the doors were locked and the circuit was still off. It still gives me shivers to this day. You're not kidding, we have shivers too. Ever experienced anything electronically supernatural like that?
Whatever you do, don't fall for me. Don't put your trust in me. Don't even lie for me. I want you, honey. I don't get emotional if I don't pick up your call. Don't come for me. Don't. Whatever you do, don't fall for me. Don't put your trust in me. Don't even lie for me. I want you, honey. I don't get emotional if I don't pick up your call. Don't come for me. Don't.